Plagiarism is a serious offense, especially for famous academics, and especially when that plagiarism comes from white supremacist literature. The academic in question is Slavoj Zizek, one of those few modern-day superstar philosophers.
If you give me power, I know how to use it. That's why I'm afraid almost of myself. I don't want power.
He's a professor, a Slovenian Marxist, and recently the focus of some unflattering headlines. First for calling his famously loyal students boring idiots earlier this year, and now for plagiarism, for which Zizek says there's a somewhat reasonable explanation. It started when conservative blogger Steve Saylor gave new scrutiny to a book review Zizek wrote in 2006. Your guess as to why Saylor was reading this 8-year-old piece is as good as ours. Saylor said one passage from Zizek stood out as surprisingly lurid for the Slovenian philosopher. This was an internet tag team investigation. A blogger known only as Diego Wolf then posted this side-by-side showing pretty much word-for-word similarity between the Zizek piece and a 1999 article from the American Renaissance, which happens to have been labeled a white supremacist hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now, as we mentioned, Zizek does have an explanation, though it still doesn't paint him in a particularly good light. He told the Critical Theory blog that one of his research assistants sent along the passages in question, assuring me that I can use it freely. Consequently, I did just that, and I sincerely apologize for not knowing that my friend's resume was largely borrowed. So the work still wasn't Zizek's, but at least he didn't knowingly copy off a white supremacist. A writer for Slate says this is still plagiarism, but at least Zizek's mistake is understandable. Famous academics have their minions do their dirty work all the time, and most of these minions are legitimate scholars. So when one of them says, sure, you can use this verbatim, Zizek has no reason not to do just that. Nevertheless, it's an embarrassing incident for Zizek and probably cause for major schadenfreude among any philosophy students who face plagiarism charges from their professors. For Newsy, I'm Zach Toombs.